Hello DDO. I'm back here with my Scurvy Scoundrel build, and I'm about to hit level 30. I'm in 29 at the moment, and I'm just gonna do a little review on how the build went in the leveling process. So let's hop into Lord of Dust to show you some stuff. I'll just say that the leveling process was kinda hairy. Due to all the wizard levels, I only got my improved precise shots at level 21, which made the whole heroic experience a bit boring actually. I had to attack every mob one by one. So let's just check out the build. I went 13 wizards, 4 artificer and 1 bard from the free bard from the scoundrel. I'm aiming to get free scoundrel past lives for the speed bump. Now I took 13 wizards to get these 2 spells, the dancing sphere and the whole person mass, and the other spells I took were mostly utility stuff and buffs. These I don't really use except for the heal once in a while, and these ones I don't use at all. Furthermore, I invested all my points in intelligence, and for my epic feats I took Holy Strike, Harbinger of Chaos, so extra damage for hits, the double shot, combat archery, and overwhelming critical. Now the idea for this build was to build up as much damages on every hit as I could find, so therefore I took a lot of ranged feats, so the improved precise shot, the precise shot, quick draw, rapid reload, rapid shot, and that's about it for the important stuff. I was hoping to combine the Thiefling stuff from the racial tree with this build, but I don't have the ability points to do that. So precision I took, improved critical I took on my 4th artificial life. You get a bonus feat. And let's see. I took some stuff from, let me check, the meta magics. For the bonus feats for the wizard levels, I took enlarge spell, heighten spell, quicken spell, and I took some, where are they? Greater spell focus enchantments for crowd control. Now let's check out the ability points. So I ended up with this split. It was pretty rough to get this in with all the points, because I don't have any racial points at the moment on this build. So let's see, I took all the base stuff from the Thiefling for the extra damages. So you get some extra damage here for Sonic, 1d4. And this one gives 1d6 once the enemy is under 50% health. And this one gives 1d8 Sonic, and they all scale with 200% spell power. And it gives some extra fire and Sonic spell power. Now, when I started this build, I was wanting to get to this one that makes your Sonic and fire spell power be the same. So if you have the highest in fire spell power, your Sonic spell power automatically gets that, but I just don't have the points. So what I ended up doing is getting the Eldritch Knight, and for this one, which also gives let's see, your spell swords dice are now d8 instead of d6, and some defense stuff. The full Inquisitive tree with the capstone here for extra law damage and the knockdown, and the no holds bar, endless fuselage, and then the Harper for the int to damage. And that's all I could get from this one. Now, if you have a lot of racial points, you might want to get the enchantment DCs here at the top. And maybe play around with the sneak attack die and stuff like that. And this is another enchantment DC. And dashing weapons and sneak attack dies are all in here, and you can make dashing weapons out of it through the inquisitive tree. So that's some synergy there if you have the racial points. Now let's buff up. I took just the general stuff at buffs. So expeditious retreat, jump, improved mage armor, improved shield, night shield, it's a bit double up, but okay. Protection from evil, protection from elements, fire shields, greater heroism. Now you've got your focusing chant from the 3 bard levels, and you have a bard song that gives +4 to skills, which is welcome but not that good for only the 3 bards, but it does give me 100 disable device at the moment, and I'm not even really good geared. I'm still in heroic Ravenloft for a bit. Then let's see. I took the rage, of course the Tensor's transformation to bump up my bop right here. So my attacks will be better. Haste, because I didn't get blinding speed because I have the spell. Displacement, and the little RT buff that gives me another fire damage. So that's all buffed up now. We've got a dog because of the RT levels. That's always useful to open doors and stuff like that. Otherwise it's useless. You might train it to kill breakables, which might make things a bit easier. Now, as I said, without the improved precise shot, it's pretty hard to level this one. It isn't hard, it's just slow, because you can't dispatch of large groups easy. As you can see, the numbers bit is pretty cool. There are a lot of numbers, and the DPS isn't bad, especially as this little build isn't geared out yet. There we go. Let's check out the gear I'm currently using. So we've got the Morning Lord's heavy crossbow from the Ravenlofts. Then I've got a level 24 rune arm, which gives me some corrosion, so acid damage, spell damage. I crafted some stuff, so I've got this combustion gloves with potency for my damage. This is my health item. This is my intelligence item. I equipped the legendary precision lenses to get some extra boosts, action boosts, because you can't have enough of your no holds barred. And this is a level 10 item. This one I picked up during the leveling process, which gives me some disabled device and search. This is a level 10 item, not that special. I put on this legendary rose quartz sigilstone because it has the intelligence, and I used it together with the spyglass. That gives me 9 insightful intelligence, so that's pretty much my intelligence maxed out for now. The platinum mirror cape, not that good. And the epic band immaterial for my extra enchantment DCs. My DCs aren't that good at the moment. Let's check out my mass holds persons. It's only 55. Oh, 60. It's 60. And the dancing sphere is also 60. So you can get that up a bit by getting better gear, of course. But I'm not gonna bother because I wanna TR back to level 15 for my next life. And I'm just making this video to show you what kind of damages you can expect from this build. Now, the damage is not that bad, as I said. It isn't as good as a rogue ranger build with Inquisitive, but the facility is pretty cool. I found that the Shiradi tree, I tried a few. The Shiradi tree works best with the damages, but this also gives a lot of crowd control, because you get your pin and your Atlas Whistler. Also the Nerf Venom procs pretty often with the crossbows, especially when you use the No Holds Barred. And furthermore, it gives you some damages from the Prism and the Double Rainbow. And also in the stones over here are some damages that occur on a 7% basis. So this one is the Shiradi Champion Destiny. I found the most fun to play because of the crowd control. Now I also used Shadow Dancer, which gets you some intelligence and sneak attack damage. The damage was a bit lower because of the spell damages being lower, but you get evasion, which is nice. In the build itself there isn't a evasion, and I took the insightful, what's it called, insightful evasion thingy that puts your intelligence to your reflex saves. So if you are in a quest where you should be evasive and you need evasion, you can just hop into the Shadow Dancer and it will be fine. You will be have your evasion and your spells will be a bit better because of the intelligence, and the damage gets countered with the sneak attack damage you get. So it's useful, but it isn't as good as Shiradi because you lack the crowd control, especially if you are in higher Reaper. That's a big no-no, and crowd control becomes more important. Then I also played for a bit in Legendary Dreadnought, because the synergy with this build with the Inquisitive is pretty obvious with that, but that was just boring. So I skipped that one, and I will use that one when I get back to my Ranger builds. Now, as you can see, the holds are useful. 60 isn't that high, but if you get your slaver sets and stuff like that, and build for it a bit more with your gear, I'm confident you will get to the 80, a DC of 80. I'm now in Epic Elite, and this is pretty easy to do. Well, it's fun to see all the little numbers coming up if you shoot stuff. I took the Harbinger of Chaos for the extra damage. And that's about it on this build. You can try it out. I wouldn't recommend it if you aren't really bored. Because the leveling process is pretty slow. If you are in a group, it's awesome. If you are solo, it ain't gonna work. How do we do this? And I still don't have a beating weapon to slam open doors because my rune arm doesn't do anything. Now let's see if we can set this up a bit for the damages. Oh no. Usually in close quarters you don't even see the numbers because the room is too small. So let's see if the Nerf Venom hit already. As you can see, it's Nerf Venom is pretty powerful. Well, as you can see, there are hundreds and 300, 45, 48. The fire damage from the spell sword toggle, it's about 150 at the moment, but my fire spell power isn't that high at them. I don't even have the enhanced fire damage on at the moment from Ravenloft. The belt with what that gives you the extra fire damage. So it's only 450 at the moment. It should be up to the 800s if you gear up properly. which would mean that would be the fire power. The fire damage from the spell sword should end up around the 200s, and the lawful damage is about 300 in Epic Elite here. Then you have the Harbinger of Chaos that gives damage, and finally all the little bits of Sonic spell power. I also tried to get into the Bard damages. There's an addition in the Bard's Swashbuckler tree that gives 3d20, I think. Let's check it out. Swashbuckler, there it is. I think it's this one. A finessable thrown weapon in your main hand deals an additional 1d6 sonic damage on critical hits. This damage scales with spell power. Well, I was looking for spell power scaling, so I tried that one out. If you get all 3 tiers, it's a 6d6 of sonic damage on critical hits. So, and that scales, so that's about 100, but I found that it works, first of all, with the light crossbows, because with light crossbows, if you take this one, you can swashbuckle while wielding a light crossbows. You can swashbuckle and this will activate too. It wasn't worth it for me, because it's like 11 points I'll miss, and I rather focused on the Eldritch Knight tree. So, but you can go into that if you like. Let's see what else. For my Inquisitive builds, I've crafted a tier 2. Let's see my weapons here. Thunderforge for the leveling in epics. The Ravenloft one I'm not now using. And you can get the Cormyrean versions for the other stuff, for level 20 and another level 24 to get you through the epics. In heroics I usually just use the Ravenloft one. This build started with level 15 because it's a Scoundrel, so I didn't have the problem of not having the no holds barred, which is a great improvement of DPS in Inquisitive builds. And also the improved precise shot is pretty much, you'll have to get that one, because if you don't have it, damage just sucks and things don't die fast enough and you're slow leveling. And in a group, if you work with a static group, you can build around it and just get through the winter, so to speak. And your party can carry you through some stuff. But after that, at one point you need to get a better DPS. Also, I'm still looking for better twists to use. I chose, as you can see, the Sacred Ground and Consecration for extra healing, because healing is important, especially if you're squishy wishy. And I took the enhancement speciality for extra DCs. In your feats you can also choose to get some feats that enhance DC further in the epic feats, but I chose for ranged damage and the critical. My ranged power isn't getting up there, so the criticals aren't that high. So you could choose to exchange that feat for something else, like DCs for your enhancement spells. Let's see, I think that's it about this build. The next build I will be going into a Paladin. I'm thinking Inquisitive Paladin also, so to get the Holy Sword spell and stack up the crit range. And I'll probably be combining that with... I'm still not sure, because I would like to get a Scoundrel life again, so that means that I have to get a Bard level. So I might go for 5 ranger levels next to it. So 14 pally, 1 bard and 5 ranger. But I could also go for the, fighter levels. Which probably means I will be losing some ranged and sneak damage. And my sniper shot. So, not sure what to do there. But we will see, I'll figure it out. I have to check out my DDO wiki and see what's best. So fighter, ranger, maybe go for a full 6 bard levels for fun. But there isn't a lot to find for ranged in the bard, so probably ranger will be best because it will be feat starved, so it will be ranger or fighter for extra feats. And ranger is cool. Also I probably have to go intelligence based because strength won't work on crossbows. Or dex based. So a dex based paladin. That would be strange, but maybe it will work. Who knows? At least with 14 paladin levels I will be able to get improved precise shot pretty early on. Let's see how fast this goes. As you can see, the damage isn't really that bad. Oh. Stunned. But it could be much better. Once the venom hits, it's also harmless, so that the damages double up. That's also nice. I need some healing here before I die in front of you guys. That wouldn't be good. Another option, if I don't go for a scoundrel build, I look at all the numbers. That's the fun thing from this build. It's just the sheer numbers. It isn't that much damage, but it's just a lot of numbers. If I don't go for a scoundrel build, I would probably go for blade forged. A blade forged paladin would be good. Combine it with the artificer. So 6 levels of artificer. With that, we get an extra feat in there, and I might be able to get some healing. So that might be a good one too, if I want to go for a paladin. Other thing I was thinking about was wisdom based inquisitive with cleric, but at the moment I don't need a cleric past life, so I'm just gonna skip that, because if you could take 14 clerics, you can also get your holy sword buff for your weapon, which doubles up the range and the crit multiplier, which would be pretty good for inquisitive. I think the inquisitive build might be best in range power. Of course, I was also thinking of a monk version, so you can use 10k stars with the wisdom build. So the problem with that is that the crossbows don't work in a centered monk unless you get the Kensei, and the Kensei needs tier 5, which will cripple your inquisitive tree, as you won't get hold bards, no hold bards. The alternative would be to forgo T5, get the Kensei T5 for the monk stance, but then you'll be needing endless fuselage from the arty. So might be a combination there for the future, but I will look into that after the pally build I'm gonna make. So that's about it for this build. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Don't hesitate to ask. If not, thanks for tuning in, and I will be back with my next build in about a few days. I'll just have to top off this level and run some high-end Reaper stuff at the end game to get my 22.22 for my Reaper points. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you find this somewhat useful. It isn't the best build in the world, but it might be fun for you if you like wizards and crowd control and shooting from a distance. So, have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.